Oh, I need to open my Instagram as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you go live, I'll request to join, correct?
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It is 2 o'clock, it is 2 p.m. and we are here from the rescheduled interview from yesterday with the career champions. So today for our interview, we are having Luisa Starling from Luisa Starling Photography. And I really, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Yay, I'm so happy. Thank you for this opportunity, for inviting me, and excited.
Perfect. So, Luisa, would you like to join my my Instagram live?
Yes, sure. Let me just look. Bear with me. Oh, here you are. Sending you a little request. Boop. Send request. It's the second time I joined someone ever. I've done this before where people join me, but joining other people, it's very new to me. So I think I just sent it to you. Oh, okay, it's coming up. And yay!
Yes, we are live, and we are live on Instagram and Facebook. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Duarte, for joining us. Thank you everyone on Facebook for joining us. So today we are having a Career Champions interview. I'm really apologize because yesterday I could not go live. The internet has been down all day. And it was really difficult to join. So today, allow me to introduce Career Champions. Career Champions is a series of inspiring interviews with incredible people who followed their dreams and their passions to create their own career success and a career that they love. Career Champions was created to show people, so everyone, that you can have the career you want. You should never limit yourself. You can create the career you want and go for your dreams and your passions. And all of the Career Champions that are in this series of interviews, they all have done that and created their own career success. You don't need to be in a cover of a magazine to have career success. You can create your own all the time. My name is Lucia Margarida Pestana. I am the founder of Pestana's HR and Coaching. It is a small business that supports small business growth and also helps individuals or individual career chasers to get the career that they want. I've been a HR professional for the last 9 years. I absolutely love what I do, but I always think that you can, get more out of your career as you continuously evolving. So today we have Luisa Starling from Starling Photography. Welcome, Luisa. Luisa is a multi-potentialite who also does wedding photography, but she also has a lot of other projects. Welcome, Luisa.
Hi, my lovely. Thank you so much again for inviting me. It's such an honor. When you invited me to join this and I read Career Champions, I suddenly felt like, oh my God, am I a career champion? Because I definitely don't see myself like that, but it's quite the honor. So thank you for considering me and for the invitation.
Yeah, I see you as a career champion because, once you do what you love, I think you're already championing at your career. So, Luisa, can you tell us a bit, can you start by telling us what is a multi-potentialite and how does that look like in your life? And give us a brief idea of your career history as well.
Okay. So to start with, multi-potentialite is not something that I have invented. It is a term created by Emily Wapnick, and I found it years and years ago. I was actually going through a phase where I was feeling a little bit lost on my purpose because my whole life I've had so many interests and not just one. So a multi-potentialite is a person who has many interests and creative endeavors. And what commonly happens is you can't just find one thing that you love. And in a world that sometimes, you know, just tells you to specialize. What do you want to be when you grow up? And it's kind of like generates this anxiety that you should choose something and stick to it. And, you know, like other generations, like our parents, you know, one job for life and everything. And I always felt a little bit lost and sad about it, because I felt like if I just dedicated myself to one thing, I would probably be so miserable and just sad and feeling like I was leaving something else or just so much behind. And when I found the concept of multi-potentialite, I finally felt like I belonged somewhere. So multi-potentialites often, they love loads of things. They have many interests, and they jump like full on into an interest. They learn everything they can about it. They just suddenly they're masters at it, and then they're just like, okay, this is done, let's try something else, something new. And then they just drop all of that and then they try something else. And so although this is really fun from my perspective, I think it's really special, I also know that that's not really what society tells you should do, right? And especially I know, well, I can imagine the anxiety that I have caused my parents during this entire time, when suddenly I'm like, I'm going to be a journalist. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be a journalist. I'm going to be a video producer. No, now I'm going to be a filmmaker. No, now I'm going to be a teacher. Now I'm going to be a tour guide. Now I'm going to be a photographer. And it's just like, can you please just stop and choose something? And finding the term multi-potentialite brought me a lot of, you know, comfort to my heart, because I realized that there are so many people, you know, in the world that can't just stick to one thing, and that is fine. And that is actually okay. It doesn't mean you're a lost person. It actually means that, you know, you can be quite interesting, and you can actually become great in a team with someone who is a specialized person. Actually, as Emily says, some of the best teams are multi-potentialites with people who are specialized in something, you know, because one brings the structure, one brings the freshness, and it just like clicks. So, and I think that my entire, I don't know if it's career, but my life has been more rich because of that. Because even though you're always starting something new, when you get bored of what you were doing and you start something new, you're never really starting something new, because you've already learned so much from the past experiences that actually it just makes the new one even more rich. So I've been through so many jobs throughout my life. I've done so many things, and yet I'm starting new things. I am a wedding photographer mostly currently, but I'm also studying to become an English teacher. And I know that everything that I've done in the past, all of the other jobs that I've done in the past, have contributed for me hopefully becoming an even better teacher. And also all of my passions have been combined to the fact that, you know, my passion for traveling, my passion for communication, my passion for people, all of the skills that I've learned in the wedding industry, with dealing with vendors, dealing with clients, adapting really fast to other people's personalities. This can also help me as a teacher and becoming a better teacher, one that engages with their students in a better way, in a more creative way. So now, as opposed to years back before I learned what being a multi-potentialite was, I feel excited about starting new things, because I'm just excited about, ooh, what can I bring that is exciting to this? And so in my career, I started off, so I did media studies, I did journalism in Lisbon. I'm Portuguese, living in London currently. And I did journalism, I did media studies, and then I went for the digital part of journalism. But I started off as a international communications assistant at the uni where I studied. And I had actually just come from doing my exchange program in Switzerland. So suddenly when I saw that the job was opening, even though I had never done international relations ever, I had no idea what it really entailed. The fact was, I knew I was good at communication because of journalism, and I had just done my exchange program. So I thought I could be a good candidate because I just did this experience myself. So I could really relate to other students because they're going through it, and I can, you know, just really relate to everything. So I actually got the job. So I started as an international relations assistant. To my boss is now one of my best friends in the world, and she lives in London as well, and we're together all the time, which is the funny part. And After that, because I had done journalism, I joined the TV channel and I did journalism for 3 years. After that, well, one of my biggest passions has always been traveling. So every money I could do, I would just spend it all in traveling. I've never been amazing at saving it because I just want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to travel. And I eventually got an invitation to become, well, when I was a journalist, I took a leave and did filmmaking in New York because I've always been interested in that. And I did a post-production for film course as well. And I was invited to join a production company that was just opening their video department. So I was going to be the executive producer for them. And here comes the multi-potentialite part again. So I knew how to deal with people because I had been in an international relations office. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to manage people. I knew how to write. I knew what it was to travel a lot. I knew what it was to edit video. I knew what it was to film make. So it just made sense. Okay, I've never been an executive producer, but look at all of these things that I have. They might help, and I got the job. So then you just keep adding to it. After that, I decided it was also time to launch my own business. I was really interested in the photography part of filmmaking. So I left that job and I eventually just started developing my photography at the same time as I thought, okay, I also need to make some money because when you start a new business, it's like, what are you going to do? So I thought, okay, what do I love doing? I was at the time, I joined the co-working space in Lisbon at the Alex factory called Co-work Lisboa. And the owners of Co-work Lisboa were the sweetest people, Fernando and Anna, and they believed me since the beginning, even when at the beginning I told them, well, I can't really afford my space in this co-working space, so maybe I'll just make some money and then come back. And they were like, no, you stay, we like you. As soon as you can start paying us, you'll start paying us. So of course, it's not just, it's also, you know, out of kindness of other people who believe in you, and I'll always be grateful for them. But so I remember that when I was working at the co-working space, sometimes I would look down and I could see this company called We Hate Tourism Tours, and they just seemed so cool. They were the coolest, like their brand was amazing. It's like, yes, we do alternative tours around Lisbon. And it's not just your touristy stuff. We show you things that Lisbon people like, what locals like, what we really like. And I knew Lisbon like the back of my hand. I was completely knowledgeable about Lisbon, and I had worked at the international relations department, where one of my jobs was to, you know, get the new students and teachers from all over the world acquainted with Lisbon. So I was the one showing them around, you know, planning all their parties and everything. And everyone at that company, they just looked so cool. How they would just like start their job, you know, in the morning, grab those vans. The vans were just like over the world, really cute and personalized, like custom designed. And it was so exciting. And so I kept looking at them and I was like, wow, it would be really nice to do that. I think I could. I know how to drive and I'm good at talking to people and I speak other languages. I mean, let's see what happens. So I actually filmed a little documentary with the owner of the company. And after that, we all went out for dinner and I was telling him, well, you know, I'm launching my own business. And I was wondering if you needed a new driver because I can do this and this and that. And he was like, tomorrow at 10, you start.
Wow, that's incredible.
And I was like, what? So yeah, so I shadowed one of the drivers from the company who now is a very good friend of mine. And I pretty much, you know, I had to learn a few more things about Portuguese history, but it was mostly just connected to the local experiences. And I'll always be grateful to We Hate Tourism Tours. It's just so easygoing. It's just so much fun. And there I was, you know, starting my business in photography, and I was being a tour guide at the same time. And I felt really fulfilled. Even though if someone asked me, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm starting this and I drive here, but I was so fulfilled. I was just so happy because I was doing stuff that I loved. And I was waking up thinking, wow, I have 8 people today that I'm going to drive around Sintra and we're going to eat, you know, travesseiros, which is one of the local, you know, pastries. And and then I'm going to offer them some jijinga. I'm going to show them the beach, and that's a work day for me, done. And it's beautiful. And then I park the van at the LX factory, which is where I also have my co-working space where I work in my photography. So it was just like this beautiful dance where everything that I liked was just connected. Then one of my best friends, she was a teacher, and she told me, well, you know what, you did journalism, you do communication, and we actually need a new teacher for this course that we're teaching. And so I did some tests, and eventually I got in teaching communication skills for hospitality. So, you know, I was working my ass off, it's true, but I felt like everything that I had learned, you know, before was just helping me do everything here. And all of the new skills that I was gaining, I mean, as a teacher for high school kids, just adapting to them, you know, still trying to be cool and know what the trends are amongst the kids, and teaching them something that I really loved, which was communication. And then I would leave that job, go and drive some people around Lisbon and Sintra, and then sit down at the co-working space and work on my business. And that was just amazing. Just being at the co-working space itself. I had never been a freelancer before. So everyone in the family of that, you know, of Co-work Lisboa were just amazing and so welcoming. Like when I started getting, you know, sometimes we have clients who are a little bit bully and mean, and I would go like, and there were other coworkers who would go like, no, I'll teach you how to answer that email. Just watch what I'm doing. Dear sir, blah, 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 blah. So suddenly I learned so many skills during that time that I bring with me now that I'm in London, you know? So
Wow.
yeah, fast forward, I've been a wedding photographer for 7 years now, about 7 years now, and I love it. And I've been a blogger for about 12 years as well, because I love producing online content, and it has helped me so much throughout the years. It has given me so many travel opportunities. And at the moment in London, along with studying to be an English teacher and being a wedding photographer, I started also to work for Twitter UK, and I've started photographing their events. They took me to New York last year, and it was amazing. And so if you ask me if I have a one true calling, the answer is no, but it's also, it's fine. It's okay. And it's just it makes me excited to think that I don't know where I'll be in a year from now. And it could be something completely different, or who knows, maybe during my low wedding season, I'm teaching English somewhere in, I don't know, South America. So it's just exciting.
It does sound very exciting, and you know, I think having different interests actually can help you to feel more complete, and as you said, feel fulfilled with everything that you do. And I believe that you know, I believe that within a career you're always evolving, and you know, bringing up the skills that you've already acquired. That is what makes you successful in your career, and that's what makes you a career champion. You know, and that is beautiful, and it's beautiful that you can share that with everyone, because I believe that there is a lot of people that for some reason or another always feel lost, and I encounter so many people that don't know what they want to do, and that's absolutely fine. You know, you can always find it out.
Most of the most interesting people I know are in their 40s and they still don't know, you know, and they're the most interesting people I know. And I always tell that to my friends. It's okay. And if you compare, Vera Wang designed her first wedding dress. She was after, it was after her 40s, you know, so you just never know, really. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Not everything is just, you know, daisies and butterflies and rainbows and everything. Of course, you have days when you're really stressed about, you know, money and stuff like that. And it's very easy to lose your north. That's why I always say, you know, it's good if you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, because then you can help each other and keep each other on track. Because sometimes there can be some toxicity, and it's not that it is other people giving you toxicity, it's the way you also allow that toxicity to come in, not creating boundaries, not honoring yourself into that aspect. But it's just important for you to do a lot of self-care. If someone isn't at the moment just, you know, not giving you a good vibe, it's not like you have to cut with them, but you just go like, okay, right now I need a little bit of distance, because for me to stay afloat, I need to, you know, focus on what makes me cool and awesome, and not on, you know, all the other things that I might be failing at. So just that so that I can still stay like that. So it's very important to, you know, find your group of people who understand you and who've been there. And for me, it has always been, when I worked at the co-working space, I felt like I had a huge family, because there were, you know, months or days where, you know, a project didn't go through and you were really counting on that money, or you were really excited of doing that, or a client said something that was not nice and you just go like, meh, 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 meh. But then, you know, other people will just go there and go like, yeah, that is normal. It is part of life. You know, you've learned something here. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It's just part of it. And then you just go like, okay, tomorrow's another day. So it's so important for you to surround yourself, because I remember when I started, you know, your family, your parents, your friends, they love you. And so they worry. But when they worry and they verbalize it, and if you love them, and if you really care about what they say, it's going to affect you at some level.
Yeah.
Affect you. So you have to create boundaries if you want to follow a dream, because nothing that we see today that has been big was, you know, created out of like, this is so easy. You know, it was because someone had a goal and wanted
Absolutely.
to go, and to have a goal, sometimes you just self-care means, okay, maybe I won't talk to you for a little while because, you know, this is giving me, you know, self-doubt, for example, or you feel like you're less worthy. So you have to, at a certain time, maybe connect with those who go like, you can do this. Come on, you can do this. You know?
Yeah,
Does this
absolutely.
make sense?
I see it. I see it. I mean, I see it. A lot of people, or even the people that I coach, most of the times they mention to me, you know, they mention, oh, since I started doing this work, you know, I see that, you know, a lot of the people, you know, they become so negative. And I explain, you know, in life is like a bus, you know, once you start working on yourself, you will see that there will be a lot of people that will leave that bus, and they will leave it for a good reason, to give space for more positive people to be able to come into your life, and to help them grow as a person. You know, I believe that you know, our place in this world is always to evolve. Thinking about your photography career, which is the most recent and the one that you've been doing for a while, what has been the biggest challenges for you?
Biggest challenges. Figuring out who I am in the industry has been a big challenge, because when you start at first, you compare yourself to others and you try and see what others are doing that could work for you. And I think at the beginning it's a very common mistake, because I think the path to be more successful is for you to find who you are inside the industry, and that's what's gonna bring a difference, and that's what's gonna also bring you, you know, clients that you really love. Because if you're just copying someone's success story, you are trying to get that person's ideal client and not your ideal client, you know. So it's been the challenge to try and figure out, who am I inside this industry? What's my style? And sometimes when you start doing your style might be one that is not that mainstream. And so that might not bring you as much work as other styles that are now, you know, just the foundation of how wedding photography should be and what you see in magazines and all of that. I mean, I love it too. But it's trying to figure out what makes you different. And I remember that when I was in Portugal, I started first with this idea of wedding photography that then evolved to, no, what I really want to do is I want to work with more alternative couples. And then I moved to London just having this idea of, I'm an alternative wedding photographer. And then I started, you know, I arrived in London and it's just like multicultural, beautiful, you know, book of people. And then I started realizing I don't want to work just with alternative, because there are, you know, high-end couples who are creatives and entrepreneurs, and they are really cool too, just like the alternative ones. So I think my biggest challenge has been to define who I am and who I want my ideal client to be. And that has been quite the challenge for the last few years. But I can definitely say that for the past 3 years, all of my clients have been spot on the people who I wanted to work with. And that has also generated amazing friendships. I am really good friends with my brides. We talk to each other on the phone. Yesterday, I was FaceTiming one of my brides from 2 years ago. We were on the phone for, I don't know, 2 hours just talking about our lives and challenges. And that's exactly the type of connection that I want to build. So I think that in photography, yes, it is normal that as you start, you want to do everything by the book. But if you keep shooting and you keep trying and you do a lot of personal projects, you will learn who you are. And as soon as you're in love with who you are and with what you're doing, I think it's just like this, that you'll find a way to make money out of it.
How you define your style? I mean, I find your style quite unique. I absolutely love. I mean, I've been your client as well, and I absolutely love what you do. How would you define your style?
I think it is. So I'm a firm believer in love and all of those things. I think my style has a lot of my influence, has a lot of influence from my love for books and films. So because I studied filmmaking and post-production for film, I bring a lot of that to my style. So I like to tell the story, but I always like for it to feel like it's a very cinematic thing. And it's based on, true emotions, true moments, everything that is real, that is happening on the day. And I think that that's what makes what I do special. It's not just telling the story, but delivering it in a very romantic, cinematic way, I think.
I don't think I know, because that's the feel I get from that is actually the feel I get from the photos. And I believe one of the first when you introduced me to your work, you did show me this picture that I actually posted it today, where you are in a field. It's a wedding party in a field, and they have the colors. For me, I mean, that photos, and when you show me that wedding, I thought, my God, this is something very, very special. And I could see it straight away that you have a very unique style. And I thought to myself, I want her to photo shoot my wedding.
Thank you. But don't forget, that is a combination of, yes, I was the vehicle that was able to make that story now become a legacy for them. But it also happened because I had like-minded clients. It happened because I found my ideal client. And that's the real work behind it, is you blog to find your ideal client. You reach the internet, you reach out for the internet to find your ideal client. And when you find your ideal client, it doesn't feel like you're working. And that wedding that you're mentioning was that. I was there and I was just floating in the air because we were such like-minded people. I had absolute freedom to do whatever the hell I wanted. And my creative ideas for how I'd like to see this wedding pictured, they were like, whatever you say, we're doing it. And it's when you have that relationship of trust that you feel, I'm doing it. Okay, this is when I know that all of the effort, all of these years, it's working out, And this is where also, being a multi-potentialite comes in handy, everything that I've done before, because that wedding happened outside of London. So, it combines my traveling with my love for photography and film. It combines communication. It combines, knowing languages. It combines being able to understand people and adapt to what they like and to how they want to see their story told. And so it's not just being a wedding photographer and being lucky that suddenly this couple liked me. There's a lot of work in trying to, reach your ideal clients. And I don't know if this makes any sense, but
it does make a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. And it's great that you when you build that relationship, our clients and, the ideal client. I mean, everyone, when starting a business, everyone says, you need to know your ideal client. And I understand the journey of getting the ideal client, as I'm starting my own business as well. So it it makes a lot of sense, and it is, it takes hard work. It really takes hard work. For anyone that is thinking about starting a career, or someone that is a multi-potentialite, what advice would you give them for their career?
I think it would just be, to honor your truth and honor who you are, despite, what other people might say, even though you have to know that most of it comes out of love and worry, because there are things that are already done. Things happen in a certain way and they've been tested and they work. So if you come outside of the box a little bit, your family, friends, they might be a little bit worried. They don't want to see you fail. But what is failure? I don't see any of it as a failure. It's always a learning opportunity. So I think just speak your truth. And there are many ways to do it. I mean, if you want to start a new business, you don't need to quit your job straight away. You can go part-time, just work at night on your dream, and then see it grow little by little. Of course, if you're crazy like me, I just went like, this is what I want to do now. And I'm a little bit crazy. It brings you a little bit more of a headache, but just speak your truth. Life is short. Life's too short.
And, we've been now in lockdown for 3 months. How has this impacted your business and everything that you're doing?
Well, it has impacted a lot, of course, because, lockdown has happened during my high wedding season, which is when I'm supposed to be having weddings and I'm supposed to be traveling a lot. And I stayed. So yes, that there have been days where, of course, I've been worried. This is still art, what I do. And, when times like this comes, it becomes a luxury and people don't really have that much money to afford it. So I've just been trying to persevere and stay, grounded, doing a lot of yoga, reading loads of books. I've been doing personal projects. I started documenting my quarantine because I've been on lockdown on my own with my 2 cats. So just, trying to stay afloat. And I've been using this time to redesign my whole website, and to work on my Instagram, and to blog as much as I can, and use Instagram as much as I can, and hashtagging the hell out of everything, so that hopefully as soon as things start picking up, I'll be in the back of people's heads, hopefully, and just some more work coming through. And then other than that, I don't think that if this didn't happen, I would be able to be doing the English teacher's course. So I've just been burning my eyelashes studying, and I finally had time. It made me stop. So it was a terrible thing. It's true. But
there is still some positives.
I've been trying to focus and not go absolutely crazy.
I mean, it's incredible. Talk us a bit more about your photo. I know that you've created 3 books with your quarantine story. Tell us a bit about that.
I did. It's just a project that I want to do and that I want to keep. Maybe one day, if I have kids and they're asked about this time in their lives, I'm going to be able to show them and go like, well, this is what I did. This is how I spent this time. But it's also just for me, it's been a creative project because I grabbed my cameras. If it wasn't for that project, I wouldn't have used my cameras for all of these months. So it's just been nice to, if the sun is hitting, it's touching my cats with a beautiful light, I'll just play with that. And, things that I've learned how to cook, or books that I've read, or meaningful things that have happened. Like, for example, my birthday, to which you came to, I created a Zoom link to see if anyone would like to dance with me for an hour. And suddenly I had 56 different windows of people dancing on Zoom, and you were there too. So I took a photo of that as well. And I just to keep me sane, I created a little diary. And those 3 books have been telling the story of each month and how I've grown as a person as well during this. Like, suddenly you start this quarantine by making bread, and at the end of it, you're attending protests and seeing the world change, So the books are also a little bit of the story of how inside you're able to change when the world is facing crazy times.
Wow. And are the books available for people to get them?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Wow, come on.
They're, I don't know. It's mostly me, my cats, and I don't know. I'll think about it though. I'll think about it.
I think you should. I think you should. I would be curious.
Oh, I'll think
Because
about it.
I think it's is a, it's I do, from my time when studying graphic design and film, I do have a lot of books on design, photography, and things like that. So I love, I really love to see how people, tell their stories. I'm very curious in that
Nice.
sense.
My friend Lily, on Instagram is telling me to talk about my bread. She visited
Yes.
me and I baked, so I think she likes my bread.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's a skill I learned during quarantine, me and like half of the world. But yeah,
Yeah. And what type of bread did you bake?
it's just basic sourdough. It's fine.
Basic basic sourdough. I won't be able to do it, to be honest. Um, that's wonderful. Good. And what does the future hold for Luisa Starling?
I don't know. Hopefully, loads of creative projects. Hopefully, finding some comfort so that I can dedicate myself to other things that I love. I have, as per my business, one of my biggest goals is I want to try and find some comfort in the amount of weddings that I shoot. So I started my career shooting, I don't know, about 30 to 40 weddings a year, and I know how much that hurts at the end of the year in your body, your mental health, how much you stop seeing your friends, and how much, this is also, it's a very ups and downs career, because suddenly you go from working from home, editing in your, silence with your cats, and then it goes to shooting a wedding, and suddenly you're surrounded by 150 people and you're like blah 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 blah, and then suddenly you're totally alone again, just traveling, going through airports. So on your mental health, it can also affect you in a lot of stages. And I realized that I wasn't seeing friends as much and family. So as I started designing a bigger goal of where I want my life to go, I would love for my career as a photographer to have, I would like to have 10 weddings a year instead, which is a huge difference. I would like to have 10 good weddings a year with spot on my ideal client, where I'm just over the moon crazy, excited to shoot them and travel wherever in the world they are to be able to do it. And maybe do a proposal shoot or an engagement shoot a week. And that way, I believe I would not only be comfortable, support myself, and dedicate myself to all of the other creative things that I want to do. Teaching English is another thing I want to do. I'm learning how to play piano. I want to be able to travel a lot. And even if it happens, maybe also like do some pro bono weddings that I find that are really creative and that I would love to shoot. And I think that to reach that, I need to be very consistent and try and reach that goal. I think 10 weddings a year would be my absolute dream. Yeah.
People, I mentioned that you were a wedding photographer, but a big part of your work, you do also all of these beautiful proposals.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. So I've always loved doing engagement shoots. So an engagement shoot is when a couple has just gotten engaged, and then they want to, capture this moment in their lives, and they'll do a little photo shoot, just a couple and me. And I've always loved doing it, but ever since I moved to London and I fell in love with the city, and I started doing a lot of tours around here, because I was a tour guide, right? And I started joining a lot of tours and just learning more about the city. And then I also wanted to creatively be able to be more fresh when I suggested places for my couples to have their engagements, so that it wasn't always in the same place. And suddenly, because of being a tour guide and loving communication, I designed tours with photography for London. So I designed 5 packages where a lot of my couples, most of my couples are actually international. So they are planning on coming to London for a weekend or for a week. They just got engaged, or they want to get engaged in London and use the opportunity of coming to London to get engaged. They'll find me, and then they can choose the areas of London they want to do. So I have, let's see, for example, the heritage package is around Tower of London and Tower Bridge. The Londoner is more around, Westminster, St. James's Park, Trafalgar Square, or if they want to do a more fancy one, we'll do Notting Hill. If they want to do the urban package, we'll go to Shoreditch or Brick Lane, or they can choose a tailor-made, and we can mix and match a few of these. So each client can choose what suits them better. If they're like more, let's be more like cool and hip and drink beers and stuff, maybe I'll say, well, do you like street art? Maybe the urban package is for you. And so what we do is we spend 3 hours where I show them around this area. So not only are they in London on holidays, I'm showing them new stuff, I'm teaching them a lot of new things, and they get great photos after that. So this is where, being a multi-potentialite, the fact that I gave my all when I was a tour guide and I just absorbed all of it, but then I left it, it doesn't mean that it was wasted time, because I was able to grab all of that knowledge, brought it to my photography, and I created, the walking photo tours for my business. And they have been the best thing that I've done, since I've moved to London, or since I've moved to London, because I deal with international clients from all over the world. They contact me from Hong Kong, Singapore, from the States, from India. And it's just so exciting to meet those people like once a week, twice a week, show them something that I love. It doesn't feel like work. And I'm very proud of it. So if I in my life did at least once a week of those, it would be amazing. And then the proposals are just exciting, because normally one of the people in the couple will contact me and say, I want to propose to my partner, I don't know, in Tower Bridge or St. Dunstan's in the East, and can you help me do it? And I've done it so many times that, I have my little bits and tricks, and so we just organize it all together. And then on the day, I'm just a regular tourist in London. They have no idea. I have picked the spot for them because I know that it's going to be lovely, photography wise. And all I have to do is wait for one of them to go down on their knees, and I'll just go click, 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 done, moment captured forever.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I just introduce myself to them, and I go like, well, your partner also bought an engagement shoot, so I'll be taking you on a tour. And let's do this. Let's have some coffee or have a beer, and let's just walk around, this bit of London, and I'll just take your photos. So that is one of my favorite things that I do here in London. And I think, and it's something I really want to invest on, because it's given me so many opportunities. Many times have I done these engagement shoots or proposal shoots where I really hit it off with the couple, and I ended up going and shoot their wedding wherever they live in the world, San Francisco, LA, Morocco, I don't know, just anywhere. So I realized that it was so much more. And because I already knew them and I knew that they were my ideal client, when you suddenly fly and shoot their wedding, you're just another part of the family, and you're another friend. And there's no better feeling than to, end the day, put your hand on your pillow and feel like, wow, that was work. And
wow.
Really
that
good.
is incredible. I mean, I think that's the best feeling in the world, when you feel that you're doing a job that you don't even feel it's work.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't have to work a day in your life, which is incredible. Just one last question. I know you mentioned, so your Luisa Starling is your artistic name.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how that name came about and what's the story behind it?
Sure. So my actual name is Ana Luisa. So I use Luisa as an homage to my grandmother, Luisa. She is the one who begged my parents for me to be Ana Luisa. And she was one of my best friends. And so I decided, okay, this will be an homage to my grandmother. And I knew that I wanted to be Luisa, but I didn't really know if I should go with my last name or what I was going to do. And then one day I was just, just going through the internet, just, when you fall down the rabbit hole and you just watch videos after videos. Normally I do that with cat videos. I just fall down the rabbit hole of seeing cats doing stupid stuff. But so I was watching, then I started watching this video of these two friends. They went canoeing, one goes in the front and the other one in the back, and they're just in this lake. And suddenly the one in front says, "Hey, look up." And they both look up, and she films up, and there's this huge group of starlings just above them. And then the way they edited the video, they took all the sound out and they put some soundtrack to it. And the whole video is just what the Starlings did above them. And I remember watching that video and just going, wow, this is beautiful. So it's called a murmuration, a flock of starlings. And what they were doing, it was just magical. I couldn't take my eyes out. And normally my attention, like if it's a big video, I just go like, nope, after I don't know, 10 seconds. But this one is like quite long and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And it just was like this beautiful dance that the starlings were doing. It was incredible. And then they leave. And the girl that is filming in the front, she turns back and she films her friend who is behind her. And she is holding the paddle and she's just like, wow, you know, what did we just watch? And suddenly it just hit me. That emotion that I felt and what I saw that they felt, this is what I want to give my clients. This is what I want to create for them. That emotion, that thing that you can't really describe in words, that you just feel it, you know? So I just thought, yeah, Starling is going to be my name. That's exactly the emotion that I want to create when I tell other people's stories. And hence how I put, you know, my love for film, my love for books inside it. And yeah, that is how it worked. When I texted a little bit, when I searched on Google a little bit more information on starlings, I found out that they are very strong birds. They deal really well on their own, but they are birds who can communicate with other groups of birds. So they adapt their language to other groups of birds. And I thought, this is me. They hear, they're very strong. And I thought, yeah, I think I'm a starling. So yeah. So that's how Luisa Starling came along. And that video it was, yeah, very important to me at that point in my life. So that's the story behind it. And
Wow.
what I want to produce. And it's sometimes when I deliver photos to my clients or when I give them their albums, I like to be either online with them or with them in person. And I love, you know, when they open it and they go, wow, I think to myself, done it.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that. I don't have any more questions. Would you like to leave any words of wisdom for anyone watching us? Thank you, everyone who joined on Instagram. Thank you, everyone that joined on Facebook. I will be replying to your comments. Thank you for watching us. Any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I wasn't ready for that. I don't know. Just, you know, speak your truth. Be kind to yourself and find what makes you tick.
That's great words of wisdom. Thank you very much for sharing. And for everyone watching, we have another interview coming up next week. Next week, we will have Susan James, who is a caterer. She works a lot with sustainability, and she also a mean vegan cook. So come and join us where we will talk about her career into becoming a business owner and a caterer for London, working with many different celebrities. So come and join us on Tuesday at 2 p.m. with Susan James from Susan James Catering. For today, thank you very much, Luisa, for sharing your story with us. I'm sure that, you can inspire so many people. I know you inspire me as well with your story. So thank you very much for being with us today. And for everyone, make sure you look after yourselves, make sure you look after each other, and share this video with your friends, with your family. Share this story because it's amazing. Be awesome, be inspired, and be yourselves always.
Thank you for the opportunity, lovely. This has been really
You're welcome. It has been such a pleasure. So let me just...
Are we turning off Instagram? What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodbye.